Yo guys, today is going to be a completely different video than what you're used to. What I'm going to do today is kind of create a video which will show you behind the scenes of what I usually do when I run into this problem. This is going to be more of a problem discovery and problem solving phase while being that problem completely in my head. What I mean by that, we are going to do today a belief shifting process, as well a process to solve this problem by understanding this problem deeply. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is open up this thing. This is going to be a very nonchalant video where I'm going to talk through exactly what the problem is. There is going to be some structure for this video, of course. One of the main things is going to be what I'm trying to do. I want to explain to you what exactly I want to do, what outcome, what I want to do, and exactly go through together on how to solve it. So I'm really confident and I have conviction in myself that because I became good in this for myself, that you can do the same for yourself. Now, what that means is that if I show you in today this long video, because I don't think this is going to be a quick video, I don't know how much it's going to be exactly, but I'm sure if I show you exactly how I'm solving my own problems, that gives you room, that gives you knowledge, that gives you power to solve your own problems when they come to fruition. Okay, so let's just firstly talk about what's my problem, what kind of reason I'm creating this exact video for. So that's the first thing whenever you're trying to solve a problem. So, after I start into the process, I go into the process of solving the problem. I'm not sure I'm going to, be exactly explaining what I'm doing. Rather, I'm just going to solve it. And maybe I will come back in the last part of this video and explain what I did there. So the problem right now I face is this. So I want to create a video. What that means is that I wanted to create a YouTube video for myself. So first question becomes is why did I want to create a video? That's oh my god. That's the first question. Why? Well, I wanted to create this video in order for me to develop myself because I'm in a hyper learning cycle. Then also in order to get views, and that means to get clients, meaning to make money. Okay, this is some ideas. So this is the why. Why did I do this? And this is what happened. Okay, uh, this is the problem, or this is not the problem, but let's face the consequences. So this is what I wanted to do. What happened? Question becomes okay. When I was trying to create this video, I didn't got a idea, and I started searching for some ideas. This happened. So what I usually do when I'm trying to create my content is that if I don't have an idea which I know would be good for the target audience I'm trying to reach, I would go and understand what kind of, content to create by searching for other people, other content, and stuff like that. So I came here, I was trying to look, what's really performing well, trying to understand what's happening, but I didn't really find good content ideas to know that, it's going to work well. So it was the thing. And the problem became here is that, firstly, I felt that right now creating content is not working. So what happened with me, and this definitely has happened to you guys as well, is that while you were trying to do something, this odd feeling got to you like, it's not going to work. It's not that good thing. Like don't really listen to it. Like in your mind, your brain is telling you that no, 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 this is not good. Like, this is what happened. So I felt that right now creating content is not working. So let's exactly state what was my thought, then get into the feeling. Okay. So what I thought was, also here we have a why, because I checked out other people whom already have been performing well on YouTube. They now don't really get views. So let me show you some example. I went here, I searched up C Rod. This person, he was used to getting, 1K views, 1K views, and 200 views in the middle, like 200, 200, 500, 800. Nowadays, it's just in 200, 200, 300, 500, 200. So it's like, what's happening? They didn't get views. Also, I came here to my main page and I didn't got any content ideas or new content shown on my feed, which would prove that you're getting better content. So it's like, I'm like, this is not really working, like what to exactly do. So when I've had this idea, this was the logical idea. What happened is my mind created an emotion. Okay. So this is what happens in your brain and in our brains. So you have stimuli coming to your brain. Stimuli. This is, a stimuli is the other content I was trying to look for. This is other content I was looking for. That was stimuli. The stimuli led to a thought, a logical thought for some reason, and that created an emotion. The emotion was this: fear slash anger. Let's name it this: fear and anger. Now the question becomes why your mind created this fear and anger. This next question. So let's come here and let's also understand why that happened. Okay. So my mind created fear and anger because I was slash I am afraid that the market shifts and YouTube videos in the micro niche channels are not going to work from now on. Boom. This was the reason this emotion was created in my head. And okay, so this is what happened. I wanted to create a YouTube video. Why? Okay. I found this problem. So this is the problem. The first stage of this problem. I didn't have a content idea, so I started searching for more ideas. That then created this feeling. I checked out what's the logical thought behind it, what kind of emotion that created, and what emotion was created for what reason. So this happened like in your brain in just seconds, just literal seconds, while you wasn't even really thinking about it. So now that you understand what's the core thing, and I have to get on because I'm recording a video and I never done this in a form of recording a video. I only done this in a form where I'm doing it on paper. I can actually show you. I'm going to show you some. Like just for a second, just take a look at this. This is the exact thing I'm doing here. Here, why? Why? What's there? No. And again, why? So this is a notebook I've used for shifting beliefs in order to get my brain straight into the process and into the phase, the frequency to solve a specific problem which only exists in my mind. So now that I have understood what's the problem, okay, the problem is emotion. The emotion was created because of this thought. We can finally solve this specific problem. So, what's this problem? The problem is that I'm afraid that the market shifts and YouTube videos in the micro niche channels are not going to work from now. Okay, so first thing first, why is this bothering me? This is the question. Like, markets always change. Why is this especially bothering me? Okay, well, it bothers me that firstly, I am not going to succeed with my own YouTube channel. Why is that a problem? Hmm, should be somewhat different. Okay, this is how I'm going to do it. I am not going to succeed with my own YouTube channel. So why is that a problem? Because my product I am selling and I know about is directly correlated with my YouTube channel. With YouTube, not YouTube channel, with YouTube. Why? Okay, this is a good point. Why do because the product I'm selling and I know about is directly correlated with my YouTube. Why do you until now did you have a successful YouTube channel? At some point parts, yes, I've had successes, and at other parts, no. Okay, I understand. So I had and I didn't have at the same time. Did that influence how much clients you were getting or what results you delivered to your clients? No. Then, conclusion is that this is not a problem. So, this idea of it bothers me because I am not going to succeed with my own YouTube channel is not a problem if you break it down into really crucial steps. Okay, so what's the other thing on my mind? Well, the other thing, why does this thing bother me? It bothers me because YouTube was slash is on easy mode for a time and I didn't really hop on that trend. This is not a trend because I didn't feel it's the right time. But this could be a very good argument. Just think about it. What does easy mode means? Well, do other people very easily got views, got clients from YouTube, leading to a feeling of utilizing YouTube nowadays. It's easy. I have two ideas from here, one and two. Okay, so utilizing YouTube nowadays, it's easy. So, do you actually think YouTube changed overnight? Meaning that right now the videos are not pushed out so much because the algorithm pushed a change, because algorithm decided to. No. Then right now, if you're not getting clients slash results from YouTube, is not a direct change of the algorithm slash a decision of the CEO. Rather, it's a lack of skills, right? Yes. This was one part. The other part, do you actually think YouTube was on easy mode, or you just ate the propaganda of people who were trying to sell you some content, sell you some product? I think YouTube algorithm changed to really favor the content that's good. Then it's not about the algorithm change, just a lack of skills, right? At one part, yes, but on the other part, no. What I mean by that is that the algorithm continuously is changing because it's all about algorithm is continuously changing. What I mean by this is that algorithm continuously changing because it's all about what I mean by that is that the algorithm is continuously changing because it's all about humans. And what do humans create? Market. So if it were about the algorithm and the market, meaning that the algorithm sorts your video to the market. What's the problem? The algorithm or the inability to present a stimuli for the market. It's about the inability. Then it's just a lack of skills, right? Right. Okay, so this is what I've done so far. Okay, so I've identified my problem by understanding the consequences which happened step by step. I wanted to do a video, and you know why I wanted to do a video, so I understand um, what happened when I was trying to do it, what it created in me, what that created, especially, like what kind of logical thought that created, what emotion came from the logical thought, why that emotion exists, and then explaining and breaking down why that emotion is just BS. Okay? So, still, from here, I've just one idea, and this idea, this, the market. So, bro, so if the market is what is not really changing, is market is not really consuming your YouTube videos, what do you need to do in order for you to succeed and get ahead of others? Firstly, what I need, well, I must understand where the market is evolving. That means I must understand what are the steps before and what happened before and what are the consequences for that. Second, I must use my hyper learning cycle time to solve this exact problem. Market content fit. Okay, so if I went through, understood the problem, understood why that's not true, and I realized what's the real problem. So it's like a lack of skills. A lack of skills in what? So because I have some skills already in YouTube creation, in talking, in titles, in thumbnails, in blah blah blah. Then it comes down to this problem of I couldn't find the content idea which I could align with the market. So if it's about the market, then I had to understand what is the solution in order to me solve this problem and never ever face this emotion and this, belief never ever should be in my mind. So there are some things I must do. So firstly, just firstly, let's break down what I did so far. So this was identifying the problem. This was until here. This was the problem. I identified it. This was the problem finding phase. This was the consequence of that problem, which happened psychologically. If you ever randomly feel an emotion, it's like anger, stress, anxiety, something like that. That's never a problem. That's a consequence of your problem. I had to pour some water. So if you fear, if you have the emotion, that's a consequence of your problem. What that means is that you can then find consequence of problem. What you can do is solve the core problem by firstly removing the emotion. This was the part where I removed the emotion. This was the exact part. What does removing the emotion mean? You and I both know that you cannot think while you're in a state of being emotional, okay? So what you must do is remove the emotion first. How you remove the emotion is you understand the emotion, you try to find what caused the emotion, because if you identify the problem, let me draw it down. So how emotions are created is this structure. So there is this, let's just draw down a human being. So what happens is that here we are humans. Here we are us. This is us. What happens? Oh my God, this eye just bothers me so much. So what happens is that we are here and everything's great. Then a stimuli is going to be presented with us. This is the stimuli, okay? It can be a dog, it can be hunger, it can be hunger is not, hunger is an emotion. It can be food, it can be like me looking at YouTube vids. So these are all stimuli that your brain gets in front of. So your human body. So these are the stimuli. And the stimuli is going to be processed in your brain. So this is your brain. Your brain is going to get this stimuli and it's going to be like, what is this? What should we do with this? And then there is two things that happens. There is an emotional response and there is a behavior response to the stimuli. So what happens is there is an emotion and there is behavioral response. So firstly, your brain, well, this I've read about this and it's not exactly known which happens first and which is second, but these two things happen at not the same time, but these two things happen. There is an emotion and there is a behavioral response. So what that means, if you see a dog that's going to attack you, you see that it's going to attack you. The stimuli is there, it's the dog. Your brain is going to create and process this information, and by processing the information is going to create an emotion and a behavioral response. Emotion is being fear of the dog, and the behavior response is going to be the flight or fight response. So that's how your brain is creating this actual, this is the process of your brain creating an emotion. So, for example, if I didn't want to create a video, like let's say if I would wanted to create a video, then this thing of me actually having an idea, then this actual video, this whole thing wouldn't exist. Because if I would have an idea, I wouldn't have gone into looking at other YouTube content. So what happened is that I was trying to look for a YouTube content idea and I went onto YouTube, and because of all the stimuli I have seen, I've created for myself an emotion and a behavioral response. The emotion was fear and a bit of anger, and the behavior response was I don't really want to create a YouTube video, I just want to lay down and just be, hey, I'm crying, oh my God. So this happened. So what you need to do, if you found the emotion and the behavior response because of the stimuli that happened, you remove the emotion. You just delete the emotion. And how you do that is exactly understand why that emotion bothers you, because the stimuli is only going to create an emotion in your mind if there is something that you attach to it. So, for an example, if you would have seen a dog outside of your front door and that dog is just looking at you like this, it doesn't mean that you would be really, like, really you would be fearful about it because there's no reason to be fearful. But when you see that the dog is, looking at you like, he's going to attack, you have so many experiences before, like not especially you, but our genes had so many experiences before around animals, wild animals, you know, really wanting to kill us, that it have understood what kind of stimuli from a dog, from a wild animal creates this, so to speak, fear. So right now your mind is like, oh my god, association. The dog wants to attack me. If the dog attacks me, I'm going to die. Maybe. But if at that point you would say that, why does this emotion exist? Why am I fearful or why do I have anxiety? Because maybe the dog actually kills me. But if you don't care about you being, dead, then you wouldn't have fear. But it's a survival mechanism, so of course. But on the other hand, you only have an emotion which is negative because you have some kind of attachment or this association with this stimuli. So if you would have seen a random tree just standing there, you don't have a freaking emotion around that tree. Otherwise, maybe it's like it feels good to see a tree. Why? Again, association with nature. Nature, from our development, from tribes. You understand my point. I hope. So because of this association, you have to understand what is that associated with, because it's never just the emotion. The stimuli created the emotion, which emotion exists because of the association. So you understand the association. Okay, so for me, this was a fear of not making money kind of thing. Like this was the emotion, this was the association thing. Okay, then if I did that, if I understood the emotion, I could find the how can I express this to you? I could find the logical thing around why this is important for me. Because the association happens, you have emotion, but when you have removed emotion, you understand why it's important, that association, like why it's important for you. So you have to find the logical source of the association. So for me, it's important, this fear of money and blah, 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 because I actually want to perform on YouTube and I have this fear and this, bing, bong, boom. As you guys remember me going through this entire process. It's like it was all about me, being fearful and bit, stressed that, YouTube was an easy mode and I didn't capitalize on the opportunity, leading for me to maybe not making money. So it's still, it comes back to this logical source. And I really break down this whole entire thing. And what you must do when you're doing this exact thing is be your own psychologist, literally. Because what a psychologist do is ask you the right questions at the right time in order for you to reveal logical ideas and emotions that's required. So you're going to be your own psychologist. You answer, you ask a question. You answer, you ask a question. You answer, you ask a question. This is what I did. So it's like, I'm not going to succeed with my YouTube channel. Like, why is that a problem for you? Like, why? Okay, bang, bang, bang. Of course, asking why is really good, but that's not enough a lot of times. Like, for example, YouTube was slash is on easy mode for a time and I didn't really hop on the trend because I didn't feel it's the right time. Why? Then I could have said that, well, I didn't feel it's the right time because I didn't think I had enough skills. Okay, but why? So it's like, that doesn't matter. And what I mean by that, what doesn't matter, just think about this. What happens between the why and the what is this difference of whether you're going to improve or you're going to try to find something, whether that's not really important. Oh my god, this is hard to explain, but I'm going to do it with 100%. So let's take this. Let's take this as an example and run this through with a why and a what question. When you ask why, this is I found the best interpretation. When you ask the why, you're digging deep. You're digging deeper. This is what you're doing when you're asking why. You're just going downwards. You're asking why, until you end up in a point like, because when I was a kid, I fell down off a tree. And now what the fuck do you do with that? Like, there is no reason to go such depth. Like, there's no reason for you to go such depth. So what is better to do, this is the why. This is why. What is better to do is asking the question of what? What? Because when you're asking what happens is that you're not going in depth. You have this depth. But what's happening is that it's like, okay, I'm here. While here you came down here. With what, you're like, okay, I'm in this pit. What to do now? Oops, move this way. Boom. The difference between the what and the why is that when you're asking why, you're going deep and trying to understand so-called the root cause and not really do anything besides understanding it, which is very important when you have a problem, I understand. But when you're asking what happens is that you're trying to find a solution. So it's like, why does this problem exist in your life? Or what can you do with this problem? And do you see the difference between these two questions? So it's like, what can you do with this problem? Or why does this problem exist in your life? So if you take these two completely different stages, you understand that each of these are important in the same time. So if you take this example, YouTube was is on easy mode for a time, and I didn't really hop on that trend because I didn't feel it's the right time. So if I would start asking why, what would happen is that I would go down of why I didn't hop on that trend. Down. Would that matter? Yes, at some point I could have some very little tiny leverage or improvement. But if I ask, but like, what can I do about it? So for example, here what I did is understood what does that, easy mode means. And from there, like, do you actually think YouTube has changed? So bing, boom, bong. Okay. So it's more about understanding when you're talking or when you're doing this discussion with yourself of, okay, why, try to understand the problem, and what to do about it. So this was 90% of the why, like this was the why. And from here, we are all about the what. And this is, the two last steps. If you found the logical source, you can dissect it. You can understand what's in your mind, what's disturbing you, and blah, blah, blah. You can go to the next step, which is how to solve the problem. So if this problem, everything came from a stimuli where you have attached emotion to, because you have an association with something, you understood the association, you have a logical source to that association, you can take that association and solve it. And if you don't have that association, you will never ever face the same problem again. So think about it. Right now I know that this fear, or being afraid of what happens when the market shifts and blah blah blah, this came from this association of what if I know I mess the next trend, and if again I didn't spot it, so what if I mess this up and this. So the solution to this thing, so I never have again this emotion, is by learning the market, learning how markets move, learning what happened in the market, learning how to actually do this thing. So right now, instead of trying to search one belief I could shift, that, oh my God, Robert, you have to be, more aware on, the trends. Or maybe if I would, really have asked questions of why right here, what would have happened is that I would understand that, maybe I'm not that, confident to take new action. And I would have started doing belief shifting process of, yeah, Robert, you need to be more confident. Yeah, Robert, you need to do this. Yeah, Robert, you need to do that. While that could work, I won't say it's not going to work. While that could work, that's not the solution. Only solution is action. So if you solve what's creating this fear, this emotion, meaning the association you put together, I hope it started to make sense here, then you will never ever again going to have that, because you're going to solve this problem by now knowing what to do, learning how to understand and spot market trends, market movements, and continuously knowing what is the right step. So what I would do right now, because I understood what's the problem and what's everything. So I should put this into a framework for you guys in order for you to understand. Uh, If you want one, guys, comment it down. I'm going to put it together for you. Otherwise, what I'm going to do in order for me to actually, make my business to move forward is this. I'm going to come here, understand that I have laid out some steps for me to take in order to solve this problem. One is I must understand where the market is evolving. Secondly, I must use my hyper learning cycle time to solve this exact problem, the market slash content fit. So what I'm going to do is understand where the market is evolving. And I already have an idea for this. So if we take a look at YouTube, what I think happening is that this is the, let's draw a big circle. This is the YouTube market. YouTube market. So this is the big YouTube market. And what happened is that a lot of people, bang, 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 really flood into this market. Now, what that meant is, if a lot of people flood into a market, what happens? Like, this is the question. So what happens is that, in especially on YouTube, firstly, content saturation. Okay, what does that exactly mean? Content saturation means a lot of people will start creating perfect content. So the stimuli is going to entropy, entropy. No, this is not how you should write it. What is it? Entropy. No, I don't know how to write this word. entropy. Oh, it's good like that. Stimuli is going to entropy, so it's going to be harder to come up with great content ideas. Okay, so this is what happens. This is one thing. Um, Another thing is besides content saturation and this idea of stimuli entropy is trust. So, because of stimuli entropy and people lying all over the place, real valuable content is going to be harder to spot, and you're not going to randomly get trust built with the viewers. You really need to show that you're an expert. So this is what happened. Like, I'm 100% sure that this have happened. So the solution to all of this is simple, and it's creating an idea creation system, understanding. So it's like so it's market proof, so to speak. And secondly, understanding how the market moves. What this means is continuously have a way to spot and understand how people are moving. Right now, I think more legit and authentic content is the best way to move forward. Almost anyone can right now shoot a Miro video where ChatGPT wrote the script, and that's all. So that's the next thing, is being a heck lot better. Okay. Hyper learning cycle to spot differences. Okay. And yeah, this is all I have to do. And this is a 50-minute video where I was trying to yap about a lot of different things. But like one thing is true, whatever you do, that the principles don't change. So if you're in YouTube, like right now, when I have came to this part, I could have said that, yeah, it's just, YouTube is saturated. Why? That's just BS. That's just BS, guys. YouTube is not saturated. The principles are the same. People do consume content on YouTube, one thing. The algorithm does rely on showing content to people. The algorithm wants to show the right content for the right people. So it's more about creating the right content for the right people. So basically, that's that. And it's all about me. I have to improve. I have to be better. So, yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you had some great ideas here taken away. Anything on your mind, comment down. I'm going to see you in the next one.